Hello, welcome to the summer here at Temple. Ooh, it's nice and toasty. Toasty for Shabbos. I'll do it. Wait till you see when I bring my real electric out. What do you do, Albert? You know something? We're gonna have these. Whoa! Jeff, filler, man. Give me that elevator music. I want elevator lobby music. Come on, give me real 1980s hotel lobby music. Can you do it? Right now, on the spot. We got 2 minutes. Can you do it? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
We begin our service 128. Hinei Ma Tov.
Hinei Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matok umanayim shebetachim gam yachad. Hine matok umanayim shebetachim gam yachad.
We read together at the top of page 124. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within the human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our heart in prayer. We turn to page 120 as we light our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav metzivanu lehatlik ner shel Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for Kiddush 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav meratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'asei v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh Seichel Yitziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Bacharta Beotanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim B'Shabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava U'b'ratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. The top of page 127, we read together at the top. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We turn to page 130 with Psalm 95.
Lechu neranen al Adonai, nariyam litzur yisheinu. Lechu neranen al Adonai, nariyam litzur yisheinu. Nekadma fanav bethodam bizmirot nariyalo ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher beyado mechkerei aretz betoafot arim lo אשר לא הים והוא עשהו ויבשת ידיו יצרו כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו. Continue on page 135 with Romamu. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
The bottom of page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer. 138, L'chadodi. We'll get to that reading in a bit. It's been 2 weeks. 138, L'chadodi.
L'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'ni borecha tishmiyanu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad shemul tiferet b'li tila. L'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nei l'chakim mekor habracha. מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשם בתחילה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We rise together to greet Shabbat HaMalkah.
בואי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לכאן דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Now we turn to page 145 at the bottom. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We continue with our Chetzi Kaddish right there, 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, בעלמא תברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רמה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן מעלמן, ואמרו אמן.
For those who are able, we rise together, 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my breath? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada da da da, yada da da da, yada da da da. Yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach. Yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die, yada die die die. da 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 da.
The top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. On the next page.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavtam, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadtam. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu uvkumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, menismach medivrei Toratecha, ub'mitzvotecha leolam ba'ed, ki heim chayenu be'orech yameinu, ubahem nehgeh yomam balayla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto leolam ba'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha, behayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, Beshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The top of page 157, we read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of freedom and redemption, our Micha Mocha 158.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osei Felem, Malchutecha ראו פניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם.
We read together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lay down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will, our Hashivenu 160.
Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Mehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Lechaim.
163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru, right there, 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Before we rise for tefillah, we're having an issue with our chiller, and I was thinking, how did Rabbi Grafman do this? Wearing a black robe, especially during the summer. Is that true? Without AC?
He makes sure we spend money on your ear.
Give a sermon on no AC. Oh my goodness gracious. It's hot. For those who are able, we rise together for tefillah 166. And you notice we have a new insert for the Gevurot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בשורת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
The top of page 179. We pray for peace in continued Ukraine, and we also continue to pray for peace as there's heightened tensions going on in Jerusalem. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make a temperate reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rav 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Betov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for silent meditation. Yihul ratzon imrei fi, Yihul ratzon imrei fi, Vehegion libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri vegoali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable before you. O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael be'imeru Amen.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those who need of healing of body or spirit. We think of Linda Applebaum, Margaret Bell, Harold Seitlin, Deborah Chargois, Orit Cohen, Karen Edwards, Edward Goldberg, Jeffrey Goldman, Sandra Goldman, Miriam Goldstein, Fran Curry Harrington, Josie Hatfield, Emily and Evelyn Held, Donald Himmel, Ralph Holzman, Corey Kessler, Jerry Lapidus, Rush Lishkoff, Elaine May, Zane Monlick, Marlene Meyerson, Malka Bat Rachel, Susan Schumann, Leslie Simon, Christy and Don St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, Hunter Weidman, Kevin Woods, and Edgar Zimmerman. For those with us this evening, if you are thinking of a loved one and you wish to share a name out loud, we invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. Betty. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, we turn to the middle of page 371 for our Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yisheberach imoteinu mekor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
I've been waiting a year to do this because we are on a spiritual journey. Don't get too excited. You're waiting. So, Pesach and Shavuot are considered pilgrimage festivals. And it's during this time of harvesting barley and wheat. And therefore, our rabbis designated something called an omer, which was a measure of grain that was going to be offered. And therefore, our rabbis wanted to make a special ritual of counting the omer, the days that have been interpreted as bringing the consciousness of our people's time in slavery to redemption of Torah at Sinai. So the counting of the Omer is about spiritual freedom, and it's about our obligation to Torah. So my first year here, this is what we did in San Diego. It's called the Omer game. And I know in many Reformed congregations we don't count the Omer, but here we're going to continue to count the Omer every Friday night until Shavuos, when we celebrate the giving of the Torah. So it's trivia, but I want to give some knowledge. And tonight's trivia is not going to focus on random presidents or who wore number 7 for the Detroit Red Wings. It was Ted Lindsay. But nevertheless, the number that we are counting is 7. Okay? 7th night. So the first set of biblical laws appear in the book of Genesis. They're known as the 7 laws of blank. The 7 laws of blank. These are the first set of do's and don't do's that appear in the biblical narrative. The 7 laws of blank. Blank, you're a blank. Okay. So after God destroyed the world, God had to create some type of structure, so he created the 7 laws of Noah. Okay? All right, another one. After God destroyed the world with the flood, God made a promise to Noah saying God would never destroy the world. And what was the sign of this new covenant? Okay, a rainbow. Who can name the 7 colors of a rainbow? English. Okay, Candy. Okay. Okay. Indigo. Purple, perlet, and violet. Okay, so Otodovar, right? Purple and violet. Okay. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. We can say violet is a form of purple, okay? How many days of creation? 7. 6 days, and God rests on the 7th day. Okay. In a Jewish wedding, traditionally, we recite the blank brachot. Sheva brachot, and how many times does the bride circle the groom? 7 times. So Judaism, 7 is a significant number. How many Eliot will we begin to do this fall at Temple Emanu-El? I'm just kidding. We'll get there eventually. Okay. That was funny. Okay, that's funny. Okay. Okay. The symbol of the state of Israel is this 7 blank candelabra. B'diuk, exactly. Okay. Now let's get really good. Okay, I told you this would focus on Jewish knowledge that you could tell all of your friends. So when Joseph was interpreting the Pharaoh's dreams, who can tell me the 2 things of 7 he told the Pharaoh? 7 stars. Okay, 7 years of famine. B'diuk. Okay. And here we go. And I think this is what we need moving forward. And I think it's nice, and I want to have some type of nechemta, some type of a take-home message with the number 7. This is going to be very esoteric, but can anyone name the 7th son of Jacob? I couldn't. I had to look it up. 7th son of Jacob, not your 7th son. The 7th son of Jacob. It's God, G-A-D, which also means a form of luck, okay? Our rabbis teach us Ein Mazel for Yisrael, so we're not supposed to make our own luck. We're supposed to seize it, but I think sometimes we need a beshert. Sometimes we need that extra luck, especially in the world that we face today. So the number is 7, so take all these 7 themes of Judaism and take us on this spiritual journey. We rise together, we turn to page 570 as we recite the chanting of the counting of the Omer.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על ספירת העומר.
Shiva Yamim Shehem Shavua Echad LaOmer. Today is 7 days, which is 1 week of the Omer. Remain standing. Arlenu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are marked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to all of us and to all of humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, on this festival night, we recall the yortzites of Isaac Abelson, Henry W. Blutman, Miriam Bromberg, Steve Brody, Sophie Kaplan, our trustee Diane Cook, Francis Copeland, Prude Thomas Cowan Jr., Loretta Munn Crystal, Preston Edwards, Nettie Mae Elkis, Louis A. Estrach, Sidney J. Friedman, Max Joseph Gerson, Solomon Goldberg, Alan M. Goldblatt, Fred Goldstein, Betty Goldstein, Siebert Goodman, Joseph Hagedorn, Mary Rose Handler, Meyer Hyman, Abe Klotzman, Paul Klein, Pauline Kravitz, Isaac Ben Krentzman, Hugo Kuhn, Benjamin Leader, Lil Mendel, Samuel Meyerson, Mary Oafson, Harry Ravitz, Barry Roseman, Archie Rosenthal, Harold Schwab, Deborah Seitel, Sandra Seaton or Senton, I apologize, Bessie Schiller, Anid Silverstein, Edgar K. Simon, Harold Stern, Cecile A. Sanduck, Lawrence Warner, Ida Schultz Webster, Sylvia Shapiro Weinstein, Bernard Barrow Weitrack, and Irving H. Wolfson, and a heartfelt condolences in the recent passings of Judy Ayland, mother of James Allen Spector, grandmother of Dayton Lewis and Leon Ayland Spector, cousin of Dr. Jack Ayland and Robert Ayland and Robert Levin, Joan Jacobson, mother of Ben Jacobson, Dana Jacobson, and Lori Jacobson, Esther Planowski Light, mother of Simona Herring, grandmother of Rose Herring Cobb, Wesley Herring, and great-grandmother of Sidney and Charlotte Cobb, Edgar Marks Sr., father of Edgar Marks Jr., Catherine Simon Marks, grandfather of Edgar Marks III, Griffin and Samuel Marks, and Debbie Mewborn, dear friend of Rachel and Andrew Petrowski, Maureen and Mark Petrowski, and Yaakov Steinman, father of Maria Bertrand. We rise together as a united congregation for a Moritz Kaddish, 598. Yikadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, bi'oma divrach hirotei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yom echon uv'kayet l'kol beit Yisrael, b'agalah u'izman kariv v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach li'olam alamei maya, yitbarach v'yishabach yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei l'kudsha
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damin ra b'yalma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'yimru. Amen. O say shalom b'imromav, huya say shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'yimru. Amen.
O say shalom b'imromav, huya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. Amen.
Just a few reminders before we conclude with the Don Olam that tomorrow Torah study will be online only, and please join us for our first ever, I know we couldn't years past, but for us, our first ever for Cantor and I, our Shabbat in the park at Patriot Park in Homewood, 10:30. We're going to have food, dog treats, water. We're going to have a spiritual time, but please come and join us at 10:30 in Homewood, Cantor.
Adon olam asher malach, b'terem kol yetzir nivra, le'ein nasa v'chefzo kol, azay melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh, ve'hu yeh v'tifara. Ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 ya da 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 ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni lehamshilo leachmira ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit ve'lo haos ve'hamisra ve'hu eli ve'chai goali ve'tzur chavli be'eit tzara ve'hu nisi umanos li ve'nat kosi be'yom ekra ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 ya da da ya da ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 ya da 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 ve'yado רוחי בעת תישן ואיירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא ידעי 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 Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, Chag Sameach if you're an eighth dayer.
Great job, Jeff.